Coming up, the first patient diagnosed with Ebola in the U.S. died today. But is there another illness going around that may be closer to home?
Realistically, the risk of getting Ebola is extremely low.
The whole entire subdivision parks right in front of my house right here, and no service.
The fight for and against a cell phone tower heads to court. It's been one of the most unpublicized races in Georgia. We'll tell you why this election for the 10th district should turn heads. These stories and more today on Grady News Source.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady News Source.
The day after a Rowdy Perry debate, what a Southern politics expert says regarding the candidates and how they fared. Good evening, I'm Andrew James.
I'm Allie Lockoff. The CDC speaks out about the U.S.'s first Ebola death. Welcome, this is Grady News Source. Just moments ago, the CDC announced that all hospitals need to consider Ebola first when they see new patients. This is the CDC's first time speaking out since Thomas Duncan died of the disease in Dallas this morning. The reason the CDC is asking hospitals to be on alert is because there is another disease that can mimic the virus in its early stages. It's a disease that has killed thousands in the U.S. Reporter Shannon O'Keefe is live at the University Health Center to tell you why you should be as concerned about this illness as well.
Yes, Allie, that disease is the common flu, a disease that looks very similar in its early stages to Ebola. The common flu doesn't sound like much, but a professor at the University of Georgia in the Department of Infectious Diseases told me this morning that your chances of dying from Ebola are far greater at 60% than influenza. However, influenza is far more common, especially in the United States this time of year. People are already lining up, and pharmacies are gearing up to treat patients by giving flu shots. For just $31 and 10 minutes of your time, you can walk out of many local pharmacies, such as this Walgreens right behind me, with a flu shot and hopefully flu-free for the rest of the season. Unlike the flu, Ebola does not have a vaccination. UGA Associate Professor in the Department of Infectious Diseases, Mark Tompkins, says that is what scares people. As of today, in the United States, we are only at 1 death for Ebola. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says the number of influenza-related deaths each year ranges anywhere from 3,000 to 49,000 in the United States alone.
That people have comfort with it. It's the same thing like driving a car. The number of deaths due to auto accidents every year is around 33,000 deaths, so it's close to the same number that we have in influenza every year.
Tompkins says that it is an issue in West Africa, but we are in the safe zone here in the U.S. He says instead we should focus on getting our flu shots to lower the number of deaths from the common flu. Tompkins says you are more likely to die from a lightning strike than to die from Ebola. He says maybe this will bring people comfort in this time of panic. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Shannon.
The family of late Javante Darden has decided to not have the march in his honor. His mother says they have decided to cancel the march for unspecified reasons. Darden was buried at East Lawn Cemetery on Monday. Stephen McKinley is charged with murder and aggravated assault of a federal officer and is due back in federal court tomorrow. The ATF agent's name has still yet to be released. And with less than a month before you go to the polls to vote, the race for one high-profile U.S. House seat is being fought over by 2 low-profile candidates: Athens' first African-American attorney and a conservative talk show host. They are running for the 10th Congressional District. They have yet to meet in a formal debate, and it's been one of the calmest and least publicized races in Georgia. I went out to ask area party leaders and the candidates why. This is the first time an African American has run for the U.S. Congress in Athens in over 12 years.
They didn't think a Democrat candidate had a chance in a district that Paul Brown had dominated for 12 years by doing nothing but being a Republican. They did not realize that the district had been redrawn.
Republican Jody Hice and Democrat Ken Dias are virtual unknowns with small campaign war chests. FEC numbers show that as of July, Hice had more than $74,000 while Dias had less than $6,500. In advertising, Hice spent over $20,000, Dias zero. In total campaign funds, Dias had just $31,000, whereas Hice held a war chest of over $566,000. For the Dias campaign, it's been signage just like this that have been their main form of advertising, unlike the Heiss campaign, which have used signs, newspaper ads, and TV ads. But Dias says he plans to up the advertising this month.
The money is coming in a little better now, so we're getting ready to run some ads and so forth to get that going.
Local Democratic Committee Chair John Wisenbacher thinks the newly added counties may create a level playing field. Athens GOP Chairman Matthew Brewster looks at it differently.
I think it's a safe conservative district, to be quite honest with you.
Brewster says he's never even met Dias in person, adding to the feeling this race has been so under wraps.
There's just not much discussion of this race.
This is the first time an African American has run for the U.S. And a quick correction to that story, it was Matthew Brewster was actually the Athens chairman. Diaz says he is still up for doing a debate with Dr. Heiss, who was not available today. He was working in something in Gwinnett County. I did confirm through his campaign communications director that Jody Heiss would be up for a debate against Ken Dias.
Time is running out to decide who you're voting for in two big elections. Last night, the Georgia candidates for the U.S. Senate and governor excited a rowdy crowd at their political debates in Perry. I spoke with UGA political science professor Charles Bullock, an expert in Southern politics, to see who won the debates. His response? No one.
But often what happens in these debates, if there's kind of a clear winner or loser, it's because somebody trips up. Maybe somebody's simply a slip of the tongue, or they're caught flat-footed and they don't seem to know an answer. Well, no, that didn't happen.
There may not have been any slip-ups, but there were plenty of attacks. Michelle Nunn went after David Perdue for outsourcing jobs. Bullock said that statement may have silenced concerns that she wouldn't be able to attack her opponents in a strong way. Perdue responded by charging that Nunn would be nothing more than a rubber stamp for President Obama. Now, Bullock said the gubernatorial debate was the typical incumbent versus new guy scenario, with Nathan Deal drawing attention to Jason Carter's youth and inexperience, and Carter attacking Deal's record as governor, with special attention to ethics and Georgia's high unemployment rate. Bullock didn't have any specific predictions for the outcome of the races just yet, but he did say that the approval rating and political party of the U.S. president in power during midterms is often a big factor. Democratic President Barack Obama isn't popular in Georgia, which could prove challenging for Democratic candidates.
Now, with all this political conversation going on, our audience engagement specialist Michael Food joins us here after he posted a survey asking what is most important to you this election year.
Michael, is the survey multiple choice?
You know, Allie, it is. Now, we've taken some of the key issues that have been points of conversation, in recent debates and posted them. These include education funding, jobs, government reform, and a couple of others. Now, we posted a similar survey earlier today, but even though our results are not scientific, we did not bring you the results of that poll because we learned that one person submitted multiple responses. We've released an updated version which only allows one vote. Be sure to visit www.gradynewssource.uga.edu to take this revised survey. Now again, this is not a scientific poll, but we will update you on the responses tomorrow.
It's a waiting game for the people of Oconee County. A Verizon cell tower that was proposed to be placed in Watkinsville off of McCrease Mill Road, is pending a trial. Oconee County originally denied the request at the Board of Commissioners meeting after citizens spoke out against the construction of the tower. Reporter Jordan Lee is live outside and has more on this issue. Jordan?
I had none. Some people say that that's a big problem, while others say something else is a bigger issue. James Thomas has lived in Watkinsville for nearly 20 years. He says people are always stopping right outside his house to try and get phone service.
No service at all. The whole entire subdivision parks right in front of my house right here, and no service.
Thomas lives down the road from where the new Verizon cell tower was expected to be built before the commissioners denied it. He says he personally wants the tower, unlike some citizens who spoke out against it.
There's going to be a benefit, but it's either going to be our subdivision or somebody else's subdivision. Someone's going to have to sacrifice to have service.
This is where the meeting took place on August 5th to see if they wanted to bring better cell service to your area here in Watkinsville. They denied the proposal, however, in a 2-to-1 vote against the proposal. Oconee County Board of Commissioners Chairman Melvin Davis said that Verizon wants the tower here to improve reception.
In their proposal, what they indicated is that would improve the signal for the cell tower area, for that area of the county, so that people get a better signal on their mobile units.
I contacted the Verizon Wireless Public Relations Department, and they wouldn't comment on the issue due to pending litigation. I'm Jordan Lee with Grady News Source.
Hopefully, Mr. Thomas can get his neighbors out of his driveway after the federal hearing. The hearing will be on November 6th to decide the fate of the cell tower. Jordan Lee reporting.
Coming up,
The past years, we've been looked at as the easy win type of team, but now teams have to really, prepare for us and respect us now.
The reason these lights will not be turning on here at Oconee High School this weekend, coming up.
and later, an elementary school in Jackson County has been vacant for over a year. We'll tell you why it soon may not be vacant any longer. Coming up after the break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
The Old South Jackson Elementary School building is up for lease. The Jackson County School Board is accepting bid applications for the Old South Jackson Elementary School building on Jefferson Road. Brittany Lai went out today to find out more about how you can apply for the lease.
This playground at the Old South Jackson Elementary School hasn't seen school kids since spring of 2013. That might change pretty soon. The Jackson County School System is accepting applications to bid on leasing it. Superintendent Dr. April Howard tells us that it could be a great thing for them and the community if the building gets leased.
Our goal is to have some activity there and to have someone in our community make use of it. It's a positive thing for us. I think it would be a win-win for the community.
Angela Peters lives in a subdivision down the street from the school. She and other homeowners are worried about having the vacant building so close to their homes.
This will affect our property values. People will not want to move into our neighborhood if they see a building of this size deteriorating.
Howard says the system is trying to put the space to use. They're asking for bids to figure out how much the building will lease for in the first place.
Out there to see if there's anyone in the community feels that there is value. Because right now it's real hard to do a relative comparison on what a facility like that would lease for. There's no comp out there per se.
Peters says she and other homeowners would like to see the building in operation soon.
We want something to go in here, whether it's the school re-enter or some type of business, because it's deteriorating.
Completed applications must be submitted to the Jackson County Board of Education at 1660 Winder Highway. They can be submitted by hand or mailed in, but they have to be received no later than 4 o'clock on October 24th. No one has officially submitted a bid so far. If the school board can't find a lessee, the building would have to remain empty unless enrollment on the eastern side of Jackson County increases. Interested applicants can find more information on the school system's website. Brittany Lai, Grady News Source.
The shelves at local Athens food banks are bare and need to feed hundreds of Athens families. These food banks will see more people in the upcoming month than the rest of the year. Reporter Heather Emmett tells you why food bank employees are confident the shelves will be stocked in time.
Bare shelves, 2 bags of cookies, 1 gallon of water, a few cans of fruit. With Thanksgiving and the cold winter months approaching, stocked shelves at local food banks are necessities. The Northeast Georgia Food Bank donation manager says it is vital that they have enough items to feed their customers. They haven't received salvage since June.
Basically, salvage is exactly what it sounds like. It is just a truckload of different kinds of food that the grocery stores are pulling off of their shelves that's either they can't use, it may have been damaged, it may be out of date for them. And what we do is we bring it in, we have volunteers that come out, they sort through all of that food, they check the expiration dates for us, they check to see if it's damaged, and anything that we can use goes out onto the shelves.
Food agencies pay an average of 6 cents per pound of food at the Northeast Georgia Food Bank. This same pound of food would cost $1.69 at the local grocery store. This food bank saves their 236 agencies $18 million in food per year.
According to the Athens Area Emergency Food Bank, a family of 4 will receive $150 worth of groceries just like these every time they come in.
The director of the Athens Area Emergency Food Bank says they are not panicked yet, but they do expect a lot of customers very soon.
We typically see over the course of a week the same number of people that we would see in the entire month of August.
These food banks are able to stay open because of donations from the Athens community. They are asking specifically for produce because they want to make sure their customers are eating healthy, even during these holiday months. Heather Emmett, Grady News Source.
I'm student meteorologist Riley Hale. It's been warm out there, and I'm going to let you know if that heat's going to stick around with your full forecast coming up.
The people here are warm and friendly and actually quite affectionate.
For me, it's like the people and just like the campus is like super pretty.
There's a sense of pride on campus and a sense of community that you really can't find anywhere else.
People's great, the food's great, the dogs are great.
Everyone's been just super welcoming.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
And now, the weather.
Allie, it has been above average the past several days. Average temperatures for this time of year around 75, and we've been into the 80s for the past few days. And it looks like that warm weather is going to stick around, and here's why. This front just to our south, that's going to start to lift off, and then we're going to switch up our winds, bringing in warmer and more moist air from the Gulf, and that's going to be leading to above average temperatures and an increase to see some showers. Low temperatures out there tonight, couple degrees above what we normally see. 59 in Athens and Winder, 61 Monroe, and 62 for Washington and Madison. High temperatures out there tomorrow still above average. Low 80s for the most part. 81 in Winder, 82 in Monroe, and Athens, and 81 for Elberton and Washington. Going out tonight, May need a light jacket, low of 59, partly cloudy skies, and we could see some patchy fog in the morning, so watch out for that. Tomorrow, beautiful 82, 5-day forecast for you, staying lower 80s and 60s. Could see the best rain chances on Tuesday.
Coming up, I'll tell you how the UGA football team is using practice this week to prepare for the tough game against Mizzou.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
And now, sports.
The Oconee County High School football team is undefeated entering the 7th week of play, but this weekend the stadium lights will remain off. Reporter Ashley Rosenberg tells us how the team is performing and why the light switches won't be flipped.
Running, lifting, practicing. That is all the Oconee County High School football team will do this weekend.
So this week we're trying to focus on us.
Junior outside linebacker and college prospect Jaleel Lagwins agrees with head coach Travis Nolan and says it's important to stay focused during bye week.
I mean, it is kind of hard because in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, this is a bye week, it doesn't really mean anything, but you really know that any of these teams are just as hungry as you to make it to the playoffs.
Coach Nolan's son, junior quarterback Zeb Nolan, says rest is key.
Just trying to help our bodies recover because it's been a tough 6 weeks, or 8 weeks, 9 weeks really. So we're just trying to get back in shape and get ready to go win some more.
Now this is the first season under new head coach Travis Nolan, and the difference between this year and last, intensity.
There's a whole lot more hitting than what we did the previous years, and the coach really gets us into it and just more intense and focused.
But intensity is not all that has been changed.
We changed everything from the helmets to the uniforms to how we set up our weightlifting.
This is the first time the Warriors have played this well in more than a decade.
For the past years, we've been looked at as the easy win type of team, but now teams have to really, prepare for us and respect us now.
The Warriors have a tough road ahead, facing 4 teams in region play. Next up is Morgan County. For now, though, the lights will remain off, the stands empty, but you can still feel that Warrior intensity. Ashley Rosenberg, Grady News Source.
From Columbia, South Carolina to Columbia, Missouri, the Dogs are back on the road this weekend. 13th ranked Georgia will take on the 23rd ranked Tigers. Last season's loss against Missouri at home, as well as UGA's depleted defensive secondary, add up to a tough game on the road.
The bottom line is either team could win. Both teams have good players, both teams have good coaches, both teams got a lot at stake.
The football team practiced in full pads yesterday to physically prepare for the game, something they don't always do. Quarterback Hudson Mason says there's a reason.
We're definitely preparing like this is our championship game.
Defensively, Missouri is tough this year with defensive end Shane Ray sitting second in the nation in tackles for a loss. This defense will put pressure on Hudson Mason and prove to be a test for the Georgia offense. Kickoff is set for noon on Saturday. The UGA men's golf team is coming home after a 10th place finish in the Nike Golf Collegiate Invitational in Texas. The 7th ranked Bulldogs finished 53 over 893. Georgia played without top-ranked junior Lee McCoy after the first round due to an injury. Coach Chris Hack said, "We definitely didn't play our best golf this week, but we'll focus on the positives and build on them." The men's golf team heads to Florida next for the Tavistock Collegiate Invitational on October 17th.
The thrift store at St. Mary's Hospital has made profits since 2008. Coming up, what they finally earned today, and you won't believe it.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
He's a smart boy, and he's gonna be okay. Okay, try to call him again. There's no reception. Everything is down. Try! I can't. Try already! Nothing's working. Well, just everything's down. Do you think he's on his way? Please. Is he okay? Laura. Please tell me he's okay. I need you to calm down. What? It's my baby. This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
I've only been here for a few weeks, but I just really love the atmosphere. Even though it's such a big campus, it feels like home to me already.
I've made friends, really good friends from Hong Kong, Bombay, but also New York and Virginia.
The local St. Mary's thrift store has reached a milestone by surpassing $1 million in sales. Items at this store are priced at only a few dollars, with certain items costing pennies. The store is located on Broad Street. The store first opened in April 2008. It supports St. Mary's Hospice, which provides care to anyone with a life-limiting condition, regardless of their ability to pay. Volunteers gathered on Monday night to celebrate the accomplishment.
All right, well, make sure you join us on our website and stay tuned for the post show. We are so glad you were with us tonight. I'm Allie Lockoff.
And I'm Andrew James. Good night.
Grady News Source is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
25% of Athens residents use septic systems. And if you're on a septic system, you need to know it and protect it. Most homes should have their septic system pumped and inspected every 3 to 5 years. Septic failure can lead to messy backups, health and environmental hazards, and costly repairs. So, protect your septic system by performing regular maintenance. Never use a toilet as a trash can. And use water wisely. For helpful tips and more info on septic systems, visit athensclarkcounty.com/septic.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow!
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center in Athens, Georgia. Completed in 2013, the Tennis Center offers great play all year round on 12 fully lit hard surface courts. There are accommodations for spectators and enough space to host a tournament. The main building features energy-efficient construction, ADA accessibility, a covered pavilion, and much more. Players of all ages enjoy open play, clinics, and summer tennis camps at the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center. Because in Athens, Georgia, tennis is for everyone.
What did you guys think about today? Stressful? You guys who watched, thoughts, feedback? Okay, yeah, it looked clean. There were some really great pluses. Shannon, I loved your live. Mr. Jordan Lee, you did a nice job on your live. The audio today was so much better. Yesterday I was watching the post show, and I said, I sure hope they say something about the audio. And Dr. Ivanka was like, what is with the audio? And you guys must have heard or watched, because today your team did an amazing job with what they taped in the studio. I felt like you guys paid a lot more. I was not distracted by audio, and frankly, usually your audio is a detractor from your stories. I want to thank Glenda. Where's Glenda? For the Skype. You did another Skype today. It was not a drama. It was a non-issue. The team did it yesterday. You guys did it today. You had 2 live shots, and I thought it made a difference. It made things better. They were really good. Your video, you guys need to step it up. You know better. And a couple of stories. Gosh, there were 2 stories
for that.
Mr. Lee, your story had some out of focus interviews, and also Andrew, your story. And I don't know, and I'm not being a smart aleck, if you guys want to get your eyes checked, or because I don't know which cameras you used. Sometimes that's an indicator of a back focus problem, but it can sometimes be an indicator of when you need glasses, because you will adjust the focus to your vision, not recognizing that maybe your vision's a little bit off. But I found it unusual.
HD is much harder.
Yeah, but some, and then conversely, we have Ashley Rosenberg's video that was so crystal clear. I mean, I thought it was on the football field. It was so gorgeous. Really enjoyed your story, and I'm not a football fan. There were some really good moments, and there were some moments where it was right at that edge of, oh man, you guys are this close. So a lot of improvement, but you need to step up your video game. Honestly, you had some important stories. I was kind of bored by the video. I mean, out of the gate, I was just kind of bored by the video. And the writing was a little, some of the writing was a little stuffy, a little clumsy, not as spare as we need it to be. Most of you did get the lead sentence in. I appreciate, again, Ashley, you helping us when there was breaking news. You guys are doing a nice job keeping cool. So, you know, some good things, but you must do, I'm going to quote Hazinski from last night, wide, medium, tight, 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 wide, medium, tight, tight, tight. Even as nice as your package was and the way you did the video referencing, you know, we would have felt even more, especially with those guys grunting and screaming with those heavy weights. You know, if we could have really seen some, you know, that neck cord strain, or, you know, something, you know, some closer shots. So work on that. You're good enough to where you ought to get better.
Yeah, David, why am I calling you that?
Professor
Hazinski, sorry.
Hazinski.
I usually say your full name.
Trying to have some of us watch as viewers, because, you know, when we're in the game, we give ourselves excuses, and Professor Hazinski watched that way today.
And,
hey, change both those monitors to what they're supposed to be. Thank you. What is that? Take it.
This is going to be the opposite. Obviously, we have all these details we have to work out. The only time I was distracted by the show was Jordan's live shot when we lost audio on it. because of our poor CNN production.
No, that was me. That was me.
Anna will talk in a minute. But I literally did not look at it necessarily with a critical eye, but as a viewer. What I got out of the show was what I thought was a pretty comprehensive look at what's going on in this area. Not just Athens, not just UGA, but from some of the high schools, some of the surrounding counties, some of the things that should be of concern. I didn't find a heck of a lot really distracting that was moving my attention. I was paying attention to the content of the stories, and this to me was the best show I've seen yet. I think there are other things to improve, but at the end of the day, we're actually telling the community about stuff that's going on in it. The Oconee County story, Jefferson, these were really good stories that I'm really glad we had, that I think really helped the audience understand their community better, and I think you guys should be commended for it. I'm pretty impressed with it.
All right. We don't have time to thank the Academy Professor. No. May I say one quick thing? Go ahead. That he's just paid you the most amazing compliment. You know, that he watched as a viewer, because we've known one another for a while. Do you know how hard it is for someone like Professor Zinski to watch as a viewer? He was lulled into that. He was lulled into that. You pulled him into that. That's impressive.
All right, so on that note, we're going to go to the digital producer. If you would stand up and just, now you have it on your screen, unlike yesterday, so now you can show them.
Awesome. I think we did really well on our website today and on our social media platforms. Michael Fu did an awesome job. We ran into we'll start with the good. We got our first tweet out at 10 o'clock, and we got our first post, a weather update, at 10:15. So I was really proud of that. We ran into some troubles with a corrupted poll. I don't know if you kind of want to touch on that. I think we should.
Come on up.
Okay, where do I begin? So yeah, we ran into some issues with that. We found out that we couldn't really use our previous survey, so we sent out a different one, but then we ended up deciding that we weren't even going to use that either, which is totally fine because, you know, we don't want to make the same mistake twice. At the end of I don't want to take up too much time, but at the end of the day, I think that this was, you know, a really good learning experience for everyone. I ended up just following, Professor Cantrell's instructions, and sort of figuring out how to deal with, like, a crisis like that and everything. So really good learning experience. I think that even though it was, it might be like sort of a smudge on like our newscast and everything, we got a lot more out of it, from having gone through the process rather than.
We have to be aware of people trying to smudge it.
Right. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good experience to be had. So.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I think
you handled it well, Michael. You handled it well. And I hope what we try to give you an example of is when there's a crisis, you have to be calm. What is it? Something about people look to, your job is to keep your head when all around you are losing theirs.
And bear in mind, and I'll do this on her mic for a minute.
Okay.
There are people who will try to game you. They may be public relations people who want you to have it. They may be someone who's playing a prank who thinks it's clever, like the guy who called in the bomb threat at the Miller Learning Center, and we have to be aware of that. We have to be more responsible than they are.
Well, despite that bump in the road, I think we did really well. I think you did a great job, Michael.
All right, we're going to go over to the show producer. Yeah, if you want to walk closer to Dodie so they can see you.
Get closer. Okay, I thought today was awesome.
More.
Okay, more. I really like you.
There we go.
I think I challenged everyone today, and I stressed everyone out, and I pushed you so hard. And I hope that you guys learned from it. Did you? Especially, I'm looking at Shannon and Jordan because their stories are awesome. I think we learned a lot from both of them, and you both went lives too. So I think you guys had a lot on your plate, but I think you handled it well. I thought today was very well, and big props to your technical crew, especially Allie, because I threw so much at her. OTSs, 3 shots, 2 remotes, all of the double boxes. It was a lot. I did learn a lot, especially from Michael Fu, from you, and I think I appreciate you coming up to me. You're like, this is what happened. And I was like, what? Couldn't believe it. Like you said, people were trying to game us. And then Cantrell was like, you're not going to have it. And I was like, I'm not going to have it. She goes, you're not going to have it. And I was like, okay. That's what I said. I was like, okay, because I couldn't believe that. But I think that today's show, I think we got more real world experience with that. And then with Andrew and Allie going above and beyond for this candidate stuff, election stuff, that's real. That's what's happening. That's what our viewers care about. And I appreciate you guys going and me pushing you. And with the video stuff with Allie, I thought she was gonna tear all of her hair out. I'm serious when I say I stressed everyone out today. But I do appreciate both of you guys' work, because at the end of the day, you were the anchors too. So, and that was awesome. I think everyone did a really great job. Everyone was communicating with me. Dee Dee, I talked to you like 4 times on the phone. I talked to you, Heather, and Ashley, and Taylor, and I think today was definitely a team effort, and I think that's a big deal, because if it wasn't a team effort, like Allison was going to post something on our website, weather. I was like, okay, post the minute 55 version, and she was like, it wasn't there. Wasn't there because it wasn't dropped right, and so then went back to Lukemon to go find it. So it was definitely, everyone was involved today, and I think that's a big accomplishment. So I think that's great, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So I am one of the senior production managers, but I was also the director today. That won't happen too much, because I do have to keep, a little bit sane for the sake of the show. So I thought today went really well. I was pretty terrified coming in here, though, when I saw how long that rundown was and how many live shots there were, and the fact that we haven't done a show yet where there's both kinds of live shot. So by that I mean the one in the garage and the Skype. So I'm really happy that we got through that. So that's really cool. What happened with the audio, Hazinski, was I forgot that I control the garage audio, and I had it on mute. And so, yeah. It was actually really funny, because having Anna back here, I was like, Anna, turn the audio. And she goes, that's not me. And I was like, oh. And Glenda's like, your audio. And I was like, okay. Yeah, she's... And I knew,
that's you, babe. That's you, babe.
I should have known that Anna wasn't gonna mess up. Come on. A couple things that I get to nitpick just because I had enough time. There wasn't anything else wrong. So these are like little nitpicky things. But we have a couple packages ending on black, which when you run that in, if that's live, I can take it when I see black and cut. But I don't want to see that anyway. But I want it to pause on that last shot, or have pad if you're alive, if you're in the A block. If you're in the B block and beyond, don't have it end on black, because we roll it right into the next thing, and so it'll go like package black next thing, and it's like what just happened. So if everything else is flowing right, and then all of a sudden your package has black, it draws a little bit more attention to you. So that's really easy. Just watch till the end of your package and make sure it freezes, and you didn't export extra space at the end. Allison cut, she was light, heavy, light, like all day it was like huge chunks, like 3 minutes. And I was like, whoa. So she cut a lot, but like Dodie was explaining, that didn't affect me at all. And I loved it, because all Lukemon had to do was go delete, delete, delete. So that was really cool. That's why I'm really happy the B block was recorded, and the C block, because if it wasn't, that would have been very hard.
It would have been an absolute.
Yeah, it would. Because I have to rearrange all the anchors, all this stuff. And we had stingers in front of every B block and C block story. That makes it easier for us to cut. And Allison actually she actually put those stingers in the rundown.
Yes, completely.
Producers, put the stingers in the rundown so that I don't forget, because sometimes I'll forget. Story starters, I'm sorry, they're called story starters. Well, they're both, but they're story starters in our folder system. So if you're trying to find them. The audio was really good, like Dodie said, but it wasn't as good in your packages. I found myself still having to ride. Your SOTs were really hot, your tracks really low, and I just have other things to worry about then. When you can control that, that's a little bit irritating. But that's just a really easy fix. Just make sure you listen with both ears. If you're gonna tease, I liked how Allison today, she teased with the spinning Georgia, because we now have that drop separately. The problem is that we had also the coming up. So it went coming up Georgia, then Georgia, and I was like, oh. So if you want a coming up singer, just know that it's the Georgia as well. So don't put the Georgia in front. So you either put it in front of your tease, or you don't have, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like a double. It only happened once. I caught it the rest of the times. It was in the D. Yeah, we almost got through the show without it. That's all right. Because I like the coming up, because it comes in, but then, yeah. So it would have been better if it wasn't on the dropped tease. I don't know why, but you guys obviously think that you can name your packages better than Allison, and so you name them differently. And it's super irritating as well because if I'm looking for update Georgia debate and it's like Georgia debate update Georgia or something, I'm like, is this it? Or is this like, did they drop it wrong? And so I just want it to be exactly so I don't have to come find you and ask you. That was a couple times, and it wasn't even that different, but it needs to not be like that. The reason the packages started from the beginning was because I had it on loop. My bad.
Are you talking about Andrew's package?
Yeah, it started over. I had it on loop, so that once the package ends, it loops. Oops.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
already going to yell at him about repeat video.
No. It was the.
How many times will this man sit on this?
It was the beginning of his package, so my bad. And crew, let's just make sure that we're calling those meteorologists student meteorologists because they have not earned that title yet. But they will, yeah. Especially Riley Hill. Good job, Riley. Okay, I'm done. Are we ready to go to a 1 minute break? Can we go to a break? If you can, go to it. If you can't, I'm going to keep going. I should have checked on that, shouldn't I? Do any of you guys have any technical questions? Oh, okay. See you after the break. Are we rolling?
25% of Athens residents use septic systems. And if you're on a septic system, you need to know it and protect it. Most homes should have their septic system pumped and inspected every 3 to 5 years. Septic failure can lead to messy backups, health and environmental hazards, and costly repairs. So, protect your septic system by performing regular maintenance. Never use a toilet as a trash can. And use water wisely. For helpful tips and more info on septic systems, visit athensclarkcounty.com/septic.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
All right, welcome back to the post show. Real quick, we're going to have our special guest. This was the senior production manager last year, and she now works at CNN, so all hail Anna, honestly. Oh. And she was audio today, so thanks for jumping back in.
So, yeah, I didn't mess up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I thought it was really, really good. I was expecting not that, honestly, I wasn't expecting that great. But I was very, very much impressed. No, I mean, just as far as production and stuff, because I heard it was really still bumpy. But it was really good. I was really, really impressed. The only thing I thought was kind of weird was when we tossed to Michael and then we just kind of started reading the other story. Did we not want to thank on that? Or was it just...
I think we just decided not to go back out to a triple shot.
I was heavy on time. So okay, she was heavy on time. Okay, cool. Okay,
I think it originally was like that, and then you were cutting a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I was curious. Okay, cool. Yeah, no. I was like, if that's the only thing that stood out to me, then I was like, that's fine. I was impressed with a lot of things. I don't. Do you guys? What else should I say?
What's the difference between last year when you were here and this year?
Oh gosh, no, it's still the same stuff. I was trying not to curse there. No, don't end on black. I mean, we still have that problem over at CNN, and all I ever hear is the director like, what was that? That was my Steve impression. I know he's not watching, but what is that? Just pick up those little things because they matter at the end of the day. Don't end on black, give your out cue. Don't leave your package script in. It's just little things like that that honestly will make a difference at the end of the day, and someone will, notice that. I don't know. I'm such a nitpicker with little things, so nitpick. Well,
do it.
I was so I was really actually impressed that Hazinski gave that many compliments because I remember I used to come up here when I was directing and he'd be like, "No, this is horrible and this is horrible. What do you guys think you guys are doing?" And I don't remember getting one compliment. So,
wow.
I was really.
Hopefully you've improved.
Oh no, I've improved since then. I may be directing a mock show tomorrow, as I hear. So.
Do it.
That maybe. Hey, don't laugh. But yeah, no, it's just because you can't really compare the level, I'm at right now. Well, not that I am because I'm still entry level, but you know, the level CNN's at, because I feel like for a student newscast, that was very good. One of the better ones I've seen since
What
even when I was here.
What have done that they have a chance to do now?
Well, the fact that you guys use so many visuals, because I don't think we used that much visuals when we were, you know,
as
like
in-
visual VOs, boxes,
Oh.
you know, the use of, you know, your banners, lower thirds and stuff like that. Like, I was really impressed by that. Stingers, you know, you're getting audiences that way. Like, you know, just coming up clean like that doesn't, you know, really do anything. They're like, oh, what's coming up? What is coming up? I think that's very important, a very visual show. That's not something we did a lot. I mean, I think you.
Yeah, we
you
just didn't
guys-
have the
she's
ability
been
to
here.
with
Yeah.
the, you know, the old
Yeah.
thing.
I don't know, what do you see, you know, the process is very different, the workflow is very different, and obviously the show is very different as a
Yes.
result. How would you compare what we're doing today to how we did it differently, and do you see this as being applicable in other environments?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. You know, since, you know, at CNN we work in a breaking news environment, so, you know, we can't be on tape a lot of the times. It's very, and even when we cut something on tape and stuff like that, there's a lot of times that we break out of it. Like, I know Amanpour's show sometimes we'll have difficulties with because she sticks to scripts. Not that she can't go off script, but she will, you know, it's a very hard show because she does, it's just very interview heavy and stuff like that. It's a very good, well-produced show, but not a lot of breaking news can happen within that show. So we'll replay some of her shows, but a lot of times it's not relevant to what we were talking about the next day. You know, something else happened in Syria or something else happened in, you know, over somewhere, wherever that we've had the Hong Kong protests and stuff like that. It's not relevant to right now. So, but aside from that, yes, you know, if you are going to say something consistent like sports and weather and stuff like that, things that aren't going to, you know, unless, you know, we have a hurricane drop out of nowhere, which, you know, we're not near the ocean, you know, so that's not going to happen. I think it's the workflow is working well. And I think that is the most impressive thing about it, is that she could cut things and not everyone's stressed about it. And I think that was very, very impressive, because I know I would have been losing my mind. You'd be like, you want to cut what? Now you don't want to cut it? I just threw away that script. Like, what the heck? Like, it's very stressful being that person that's being in charge now, especially now that you guys are TDing and directing. So
yeah.
it's a very good workflow. And, you know, and you see when you have like, I was very impressed with both of y'all's live shots. I thought they were very well. You know, you were out there early, and that's one of the most important parts, is being out there early, because that would be one of the things that stressed me out. I was like, wait, you have 5 minutes to be out there, and that'd be the most stressful part on our end, is just like, are you gonna even make it? Well, guess not. Like, sorry. I would just, you know, if it was me, I would just cut him. So good for you, you know, being out there early. I really liked it today. I was very, very impressed.
I can't even believe it.
No, I can't. No, just kidding. No, I can. Very good crew you guys here. Monday, Wednesday, that seems to be the class to want to be in. I don't know, I haven't seen Tuesday, Thursday yet, but that'll be tomorrow.
You can make a decision. All right, so now we have about 8 minutes to go over packages. So we will pull them up on the screen behind you. You want your lead A reporter up here? Is that who you want first?
Yeah, we did something a little different. Yeah, come on up, Shane.
Right. Okay.
In the political, and so I'll have both the anchors come up for that. But let's start with Shannon, and I do want to say, Ashley did a terrific job, because we had breaking news from the CDC, and it absolutely influenced what Shannon was doing. And Shannon, I was most impressed with you, because when I told you you had to change something on a dime, you didn't freak out. You said, where's a pen? You wrote it down, and you were on the money. And had you not been, you would have looked really goofy. So good for you. Anyway.
Yeah, it's been a learning lesson today for sure. I'm definitely all about the fluff stories, as y'all know. I love the fun, you know, kids, happiness, whatever. And this morning when Allison was like, you're going to do this story, I said, okay. I just freaked out inside a little bit, and I started to call a million different people, none of which wanted to help me. And I learned something really big from Cantrell today, how to not let somebody tell you no. So you just kind of got to, you tell them what you want, tell them when you want it, and don't let them tell you no, which was really a huge learning lesson for me. And I enjoyed the harder news story. I really enjoyed going out and talking to the producer, or the researcher, because he was very, very, him right there, he was very Well, not him.
Not him.
He spoke really well, and he taught me a lot too. But I was upset with myself because I didn't get much B-roll. I went out to the pharmacy hoping that I could do my stand-up while getting a flu shot as a creative stand-up, and everybody told me, yes, oh my gosh, yeah, no, that won't be a problem. And I get in, and the nurse says, why do you have your camera out? And I said, oh, I'm going to do a stand-up. I'm a reporter for Grady News Source, whatever. She hadn't gotten the message, I guess, and she said Walgreens doesn't allow that. You'll have to call, whatever. And I was short on time, so I left, did my stand-up separately. But it just was upsetting because I was going to use that for B-roll footage too. I did get a flu shot, but I did have to pay for it. So yeah, I thought it was great. Dee Dee was very helpful in helping me get some of the B-roll off CNN. I thought it turned out better than I had anticipated, and I enjoyed doing the live shot. I like that. I think it adds to the story.
I think you did a super job. I think are we losing focus, everyone? Or do we know everything there is to know? I don't think it's the latter. I think you did an amazing job, and I think you guys could all learn a lesson from her when you talk about, you're all about the fluff and stuff. Hard news is much easier. It's much easier. I hope you learned that today. I think you have a good example of, I do think you guys get a little focused on your stand-ups and it's all about me. Yeah. And I think some of that is youthful egocentrism, and I trust it will go away. And it is, I'm already saying that. But and I know it's scary, you worry about a stand-up, but if we shoot the wide, the gentleman you had, if we just shot him and then shot his head and maybe shot his hands in the counter, you would have had more video. I can't stress enough, wide, medium, tight, 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 wide, medium, tight, tight, tight. But I think you did a super job today. I think you learned a lot.
And the one person getting the flu shot there, I asked her if she would interview, and she says, "Oh, I don't like the camera," and ran the other way. I'm like, "Okay, never mind."
Yeah, But no, I thought you were really good.
Thank you.
I'd like to, before we do B1, if we could do Andrew and Allie both.
All right. So here are our anchors for today. You all will recognize them.
We did something a little bit different. This is something you'll find a lot in the business. Where anchors are journalists, we can't afford, the industry can no longer afford the industry can no longer afford people that can just quote unquote look pretty and read. You need to be a real journalist, and we've got to get some equity out of these big salaries that we pay, and today we did. I think you guys did some important work. Allie, you had some challenges.
Yes, boy did I ever. Do you want me to talk about them?
Talk about what you want to talk about, what you liked, what you didn't like.
I thought it was important to do a story on the debates. I've sort of been pushing more political coverage in here, especially of these elections coming up in less than a month. I had an issue. I talked to Bullock today, Charles Bullock, who was fantastic. He knows a lot about what he's talking about, Southern politics, great source. So that was good. I'm glad that happened. Had a little bit of a frustrating time getting video with audio of all things. We talked to WMAZ in Macon that had the footage. They wanted to send it, they wanted to FTP it to us, which is a file transfer process. Learn something new every day. Protocol, whatever. Getting the video. UGA, we can't do that because we're on the UGA server, which has a firewall that blocks things from outsiders, whatever.
We're gonna work on that.
Complication after complication. So we just had to work with what we were given, and I think the end product, it was informational, and that was my goal. It could have been cooler, it could have had more nat sound and been more appealing and maybe more captivating, but I got the point that I was trying to get across. So that's, at the end of the day, what mattered.
I think for me, very much appreciative of having a photographer out there with me, Mason Gepp, who's not here right now, but thank you so much for coming out with me today. It was a heck of a story. The 10th District, we're nowhere near done talking about this, and I am nowhere near done trying my best to get these candidates out and speaking to the public. When I speak to an Athens GOP chair and he has never actually met the Democratic candidate in person or shook his hand, to me, that's shameful, and I want to work on that, and I hope we can work on that in getting the public to know these people who are running for public office. With that being said, there was a lot of writing issues I wish I had more time to have been more detailed about, but we got it on, and we got some information to start a long line of keeping people more informed about the vote in November, I feel, which will be very important coming up.
And I think one thing I would add about Andrew, because this is something, you're the poster child on this today, but this is something all of you are equally guilty at different times. Kudos to you for bringing this story to the table and letting us know the importance of it, because you're right, it's absolutely important. but you had like 5 different angles, and I we had a difficult time directing you to focus on one. And at the end of the day, as you guys grow up and go work in newsrooms, there isn't anyone that's going to direct you on one. Your producers, but you guys have got to get really good at that, because I felt you did have a photographer. That package should have been the most gorgeous thing in the show, should have been the most video rich, because you did have a photographer. It was probably one of the worst in terms of video. And I think that had a lot to do with, because you're a very smart young man and because you're very engaged in it, you tend to will-o'-the-wisp because you want to tell everybody everything about it. And it's great to be smart and it's great to be informed. Better to know a lot and peel that information away than to be adept and not know anything about your story. But I would just urge you, Andrew, focus and pay attention to that, guys, because this focus issue is important for all of you as you become more competent. And B1 story, do we have to, what?
I think we're almost out of time.
What, I'm gone?
Bye. Have a nice